Hey folks, welcome to the Quarantine Corner Bahamas edition.
Woo woo!
We're not actually sure what number it is because we don't have cell phone coverage right here to look it up.
We're gonna stick with Bahamas edition.
Yes, but it's, as you can see, the Bahamas. We've been here for the last, I guess, week or so, visiting some friends and stuff, and just finally like catching up on a few things.
Mostly vitamin D, vitamin C, and vitamin sleep.
Sleep, lots of sleep. We've been testing the sleep tracking capabilities of lots of
Yes.
things, but also spilling everywhere.
Fail. Rosé fail.
We have, but what we're testing also lots of actual tech too. So we'll talk about that in this episode.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun. And let's be honest, you guys all think that product pictures are prettier in the sun.
Yeah, and hopefully our microphones aren't too bad out here in the wind. Usually these do okay
Hello.
in the wind, but
Hello.
But yeah. So what is first on our list?
First on the list. Oh nay, turned off. Sunto stuff.
Sunto stuff. Yeah. So this morning Sunto announced a flotilla of things. They announced one, they're getting back in the app business game, if you will. So, you know, Sunto was actually like the first company to have an app store on a watch years ago. Before Apple, before even Pebble. Pebble announced it first, but Sunto delivered it well before Pebble actually ever shipped the first watches. So
That is a trivia question we are all now that little bit smarter for.
a little bit smarter. So Sunto's getting back in that game, but very like dipping the toe in the ocean sort of thing. They're basically doing this thing called Sunto Guides, which are, they're like apps, but they're all like a bunch of if-then statements. And so the app itself, a developer doesn't compile an app, they send this like file of if-then statements to Sunto servers that then show up in your watch. So it can be, if you get to kilometer X, then this, or if heart rate this, then this. And so the first app to take advantage of that, and this is a pretty big one, is Training Peaks.
Whoop.
So Training Peaks now has structured workouts on a Sunto device. And that's notable because it's the first time there's ever been true structured workouts on a Sunto device, somehow. So it's here now. All the moves.
Trains catching up.
Yep, you could do like half structured workouts in the past with their suggested workouts, but this is the first time that you can create your own structured workouts on a third-party platform or Sunto's own platform and push it to the watch itself. And so that is now here. That's cool stuff. And
Is this like a story of the tortoise and the hare, but like Sunto?
this
catching up?
is mostly just a tortoise. But Sunto got there. That's what's important. And it's cool. I think it'll be really interesting to see what companies do with this. It's not super powerful, but it's also not super complex. And thus, because of that, companies can actually probably iterate on this very, very quickly with very little dev effort. I mean, they were talking like half a day to develop an app for this. An app, again, is basically just a config file that has a bunch of statements of, if this thing happens, then prompt this on the watch. And they're launching with a bunch of things. They're launching a bunch of structured workouts. They're launching with all these cool things. So that's cool. That's all I've got in that one.
All right.
We're keeping things kind of like short and quick today because
All right.
we got to get back to testing things.
Well, since we're in a nice, warm, hot, sunny climate, we also decided to put GoPro through its paces.
We've been trying to kill GoPros again.
Yep.
We've been
It's sort of Ray's like life mission. You know, whenever we go on vacations and adventures, can he kill it? Can he sink it? Can he attach
Yeah.
it to the side of an airplane?
all the things. So GoPro, after I did my like 40 plus GoPro test last fall in the Hero 10 in terms of overheating, they released what's called a video performance mode, or modes, which basically there are 3 different modes. One is tripod mode, one is like half-assed mode, and then one is full performance mode. And in tripod mode, which is what we're using right now actually, it turns off all the things like stabilization and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to reduce the heat. And so in theory, in a place like this, it'll go ahead and last a lot longer than it would in the past, and it reduces the frame rates as well. So I've been testing all that in these conditions, and I previously tested stuff in the past, but this is like what people kind of want to see. So we've been doing stuff, we've been putting cameras like outside our hotel room, doing this. We've been driving
car
up
dashboards.
car dashboards, all the
that
tests.
one didn't last long.
No, that was a very short-lived test.
Yes.
But we've been kind of putting it to the test, and then in theory, if FedEx cooperates tomorrow morning, DJI's new magnetic case, which is basically a new like heat reduction case. I don't know how to describe it, but it takes the heat out of the camera and pushes it away. That shows up tomorrow morning at the hotel, and then I'll be able to test their new like solution as well for heat reduction in their camera. And the Osmo Action 2 or the Action 2 it overheats in like 6 to 8 minutes. And so really anything beyond that is success for this little case. And they're giving the case away for free. So anyone who's bought a camera gets it for free, and anyone who buys a camera gets it for free going forward.
We got visitors.
We do, yeah. But we'll let the visitors visit for a second. Okay, so what is next on the list?
We have a fun little package of stuff here. I'm gonna bring up Stages stuff.
Stages. Stages has teased stuff.
Stuff.
Stuff, yes.
Plethora of stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
A plethora of stuff?
A plethora of stuff.
A smattering of stuff?
Or they've just teased stuff.
Smorgasbord of stuff?
Just one stuff. So Stages has sent out an email and published, I think, their Facebook page and on their homepage itself, that they have a new GPS cycle computer coming, is the way they phrased it. But if you highlight that image and right-click the properties, then, or I guess if you're on a Mac, you don't. But anyways, if you highlight the image, then it shows Stages Dash. So we know it's their bike computer lineup, which isn't a very big jump or leap to conclusions there, because they wouldn't change their bike computer lineup name. But you can see though in the picture that they have there, we'll put it on the screen right now. It looks pretty similar to their existing one, but it does have what appears to be indented buttons. And so one of the biggest complaints I had about the previous Stages Dash is the buttons were absolutely positively miserable. And that you pressing them was like, you felt like your whole front wheel is gonna fall off trying to press that down through the front fork. So I'm hoping this will get fixed. That's all I can say about that right now.
What are you saying, that people thought that the front was gonna fall off?
Oh, that's the best thing ever.
Front fell off.
We just got our one cloud. Our one little cloud just came by.
You guys have to understand how happy I've been the last few days, just having warmth and sun and blue skies.
One cloud.
One cloud is ruining it.
There was old commercials in the US, I think there were Southwest Airlines commercials, where basically people were lying on the beach in the Bahamas, and then a single tiny little cloud came across and it all went shady like this for a second, and the whole commercial went, "Aww." It's the same thing. You can see the sun coming back across here in like 4 seconds, it'll be done. So anyways, for Stages stuff, whenever they announce, I suspect you'll see something around here about that. Generally speaking, we see a lot of cycling stuff coming up at not Eurobike, yes, Eurobike in the summer, but also Sea Otter, and Sea Otter is in 2 weeks. So I won't be going to Sea Otter this year, but I will be covering all the tech from here. Well, not here, I wish I was still here.
From somewhere.
From somewhere then, so yeah.
All right, are we done with Stages?
We're done with Stages.
What about Swifty's little fashion sale?
That's, yeah.
Clearance.
The clearance, they got rid of it all, fire sale. So yeah, Zwift.
It's not even a long weekend.
No, over the last 3 weeks, they put everything on clearance for 20% off on their Zwift store. So Zwift has a store that you can buy things like trainers and smart bikes and heart rate straps and all that stuff. And anything cycling related, they've had on sale for 20% off. And it's notable for a few reasons. One is that it's billed as a clearance event, which normally clearance means like it's gone forever.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the case here. Two, they don't allow any returns, so you can't return it later on if you don't like it. You have to deal with Wahoo or whomever. Three, it's really interesting because this is the first time we've seen the Wahoo Kicker bike on sale, for example. So it's 20% off, and that's a lot of money. That's like $600 off or so of a unit that's virtually never been on sale. But I did a whole post on like the behind the scenes of this sort of sale, and in the US there's something called MAP, or minimum advertised price, and essentially that means that you can't advertise like a sale like this without permission of a Garmin or a Wahoo or whatever. And clearly Garmin and Wahoo and everyone didn't give them permission to do a 20% off sale, because in that case, if they did that, everyone else would also be on the sale, because that's again how Garmin and Wahoo keep all their peoples happy, is that they authorize a sale for everyone at the same time. But if you violate that, then you get turned off, and so that means you lose the ability to buy or distribute that particular product for 6 months. And so
is that Zwift's way of saying they don't care?
They don't care, right? So when a company is clearancing out stuff, they just put it on sale because they don't care about getting replenished, and ordering more to sell to you. It doesn't matter to them. The other way companies do that is Amazon, where Amazon says, we're going to buy 15 or 20,000 of these units, and we'll take the 6-month churn off hit. So they turn off just that one SKU, which is really interesting. So just that one item that you underpriced, even by a single penny, gets turned off. And so Amazon does that and says, we got 15,000, we're good for the next 8 months. And then just makes a sale on that and gets your money.
Must be nice to be the Goliath of the industry.
Yep. So anyways, the whole point of like this just interesting little tidbit is that obviously, Zwift has confirmed they have their hardware coming out. I've written posts on it and shown their smart bike as well as their trainer that's coming out, and all the stars seem to point towards this summer, probably time to Eurobike or probably time to the Tour de France or the Tour de Femme, which Zwift is the headliner sponsor for this year. It's the Tour de Femme sponsored by Zwift, or Avec Zwift, I think. So point is that seems like a logical time, so now's a good time to get rid of everything because you don't want to be like selling your competitor's stuff on your own store. Anyways, I thought that was interesting though.
All right.
No more visitors?
No, what?
I said no more visitors.
No more visitors?
But check this out. There's this board right here. See that?
Yeah.
That board, when we were walking down the beach like 20 minutes ago,
Yeah, it was up there.
was halfway down this beach. And the currents have just like slowly...
Sucked it down.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of got a two-part, so I'll let you decide who you want to go first.
Okay.
But we were also testing some more gear because we're here and why not? So we were poking around with the InReach and we were poking around with some scuba testing because we were scubaing.
Indeed, we actually used the InReach on the scuba trip.
Yeah.
Not that we expected this guy to get lost, but...
You know, in the Bobby and Ray world, like stranger things have happened. I like sent a picture to my sister of like the Dive Masters dive card and like where we were leaving, how many tanks we were diving, when we should be back. We have the InReach because in the Bobby and Ray world, if someone is going to get left out to sea on a dive trip, it will be us.
It'll be us. And we haven't necessarily had the smoothest of trips getting into this. In particular, for example, on our flight down here, our plane got hit by a fuel truck. So
yes, you heard that correctly.
Yeah, it literally...
We're on the tarmac. The airplane budged like this big
thump,
and everyone on the plane kind of like wiggled forward. And I'm like, that wasn't like, that's not someone throwing in a heavy suitcase. Like, what just happened? And the pilot comes on, he's like, "Whoa, good morning, folks." It's like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I hate to start off our morning with some unfortunate news here. Everyone's like, "Ah." And he's like, "We were just hit by a gas tanker," and it's like, or a fueling truck.
Yeah.
And it was like, "Off the plane. Get off of the plane. Get me off of this plane."
And the plane didn't blow up, obviously. Here's, you can see the pictures of it. But that plane was dead for the day.
Someone had a bad day. We had a bad day.
Yeah, it screwed up our entire day because getting here is not an easy affair from Europe, and that made a solid mess.
We're on the island of Eleuthera, by the way. We said the Bahamas. We didn't tell them where we're at.
Yep.
So we're on the island of Eleuthera, which it's not like getting into NASA. This is an off the beaten
little
path.
Puddle hopper, and
yeah,
that's it. It's got a pineapple on its tail. It's simple as that.
Anyways, we brought the InReach with us because it could have been the makings of an epic story.
Yeah, we had the SOS button there just in case we needed it. But mostly I just wanted to play around with it and out in areas that is not cell phone coverage. And I mean, not that it really matters from a testing standpoint because it doesn't have any like cell connectivity in it. So from its standpoint, it doesn't matter if it's the middle of Amsterdam or it's out here. Yeah. It all works the same. But it's nonetheless interesting just to kind of play with it in these places. And I've been using it for, I guess, a month and a half now, a while.
Yeah.
I'm just like super slow rolling getting that review being done, but there's that.
Well, they were super slow rolling the product to you.
There was some delays that occurred there. So
wah, wah.
We've talked about this in the past. Like my motivation to complete something quickly falls off a cliff.
Once it's been released.
Once it's been released. Like if a device arrives the day after it's been announced, it's at the bottom of the bin of all the things that haven't been announced yet. And that just doesn't matter, as this case is. This is Garmin's device. Doesn't matter if it's Garmin or Wahoo or anyone else, Apple even. If I don't get it beforehand, it's likely to fall off the bottom of the list because other companies have spent the time to get me something ahead of time.
Yep.
And I'm going to therefore spend the time to review it for you on launch day.
Well, the other reason why we went scuba diving was we had to test it out on the Instinct, right?
Descent. But it's an Instinct. This is the Instinct 2 rebranded as the Descent G1.
So I was correct.
You were correct, yeah. The Garmin has made dive watches now for a few years, but they've always been super expensive ones based on the Phoenix lineup primarily. This is now based on the Instinct lineup, and it's like the higher-end ones, and it has the vast majority of the same capabilities except no air integration. So you can't have this tied directly to your tanks if you want to. Garmin basically builds this.
You cannot?
Cannot on this one. You can on the higher end one.
Making sure everyone heard that over the wind.
Yeah. And Garmin basically builds this as something probably actually perfect for us, which is that we are primarily fitness focused, but do diving. And so on this trip, we went out with a dive master. We're both certified. I've got plenty of dives. You've got plenty of dives, but it's not our life. Like we've got friends that are
their vacations, their adventures, their holidays revolve around scuba clubs, scuba events.
And they've got all their own gear. And to be fair, even for them, this watch actually might be a good fit in the sense that they probably don't really care about the air integration side of it too much because they're not diving every single day.
Right.
But they would care about logging their dives and having all that. And it's cool. Like it showed me, you basically start it above water and then it finds GPS. And then if you're doing a drift dive, for example, it'll show your entry point and the exit point as two different dots on a map. And then below the surface, it shows an entire chart of your depth over the course of the entire dive. It does safety stops when you get back up, and it timed it. So like when we made our safety stop, the guy was on his watch and I was on my watch, and just the second you get within the 5 meters or 15 feet, 5 meters, 15 feet, then it basically starts it, and then it just starts counting down, and then it gives you the clearance, and then it ends the dive once you get above. And
it even gave us safe till flight hours.
Yeah, it gives you your surface interval. Like right now, our surface interval since the last one is 24 hours, 54 minutes. But it gives you, prior to that point, the precise amount of time until you need to fly. So normally when you go diving, the simple math that everyone uses is 24 hours from the last dive.
Right.
But the reality is that is based on like essentially a worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And it's just it's like the easy math, you just tell a tourist 24 hours, be done with it.
Yeah.
But in reality, this watch gives you the exact number. So based on our dives yesterday, they weren't that deep. They were only about 50 feet because that's not that deep here where we were. But in that case, it showed us basically clearing out of that at 4 in the morning. So when it was safe to go on an airplane. So that would have been like 17 hours or so.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it. It's pricey though. It's basically the same price as a Phoenix. It's like $600, I think. So like twice the price of a normal Instinct 2. But it does have solar built into it, no music. I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's good. How'd you feel about your dive yesterday?
I was good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
We haven't dove together like since pre-babies. So Ray's done a couple of dives testing other watches. What was that thing called that you went to? Was it in Brussels?
Yeah, Nemo 33.
Yeah. So Ray's logged a couple of dives here and there. I haven't. I get really bad TMJ from, I don't know, maybe I'm just chewing on that regulator, but a lot of times we just end up snorkeling because, like you said, it wasn't a very deep dive. So sometimes snorkeling, if you're in the right place, is just as beautiful.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. It was only 50 feet. Having not dove in a long time, it was like very comforting. And you still had beautiful light coming through. So you still got to see beautiful colors of the fish and the coral and a big old eel, lime green, yellowhead coming out at us.
Yep. No sharks though. The guy offered a shark dive for more money.
Having not dove in a long time, I just didn't need to like choke on a regulator or suck in a bunch of water and bubbles, panicking.
We might do a shark dive later in the week. We'll see. I don't really want to do like one of the shark dive he offered. He was super clear. He's like, we're not chumming the waters. We're just going to a wall where the sharks are known to kind of glide past. And we just didn't end up doing it there, but might do it on the next island we go to. We'll see. But I really don't want to do like the huge chum thing. I don't think that's all that great.
I don't think that's even right to do.
No, so
he messes with them.
Anyways, we'll see later on the week. But
we did see a shark though.
We did see a shark.
A reef shark. I went out the very first day we were here just to get my shins wet, and the thing about the Bahamas is it's beautiful white sands unless it's not. And what we're like kind of sitting around here is this like coral, limestoney. It's sharp. So you can be out in the ocean, beautiful white sand, and all of a sudden it's now just sharp, jaggedy rocks. So I'm kind of tiptoeing, and I'm walking around conch shells too. Like, so you're trying not to put a conch thing through your foot, and tiptoeing around. I'm kind of stuck in this little spot for a second, trying to figure out where's my next step. And I'm like, Ray, Ray! But I was jokingly freaking out because the shark was this big.
Yeah, it's
but it was so sweet to see a little black fin going around and just, I don't know, cleaning the water, I guess.
Yeah, it was good times. It was so far it's been nice here. We haven't had any.
Yeah, but we did get stuck in a monsoon one day.
We had one complete dump of a day, but so far the rest of the trip's been sunny. It's supposed to be sunny for the remainder of the trip. Yeah. So yeah.
Lots of sleeping, lots of adventure. We did a 5K today.
Yep, not a race, just a run.
Oh, yeah, we did a jog. It was a jungle run.
It was a jungle run. We spent It was like a trail run of sorts. There's some video I took, and you can see at times it was like nice, clear, like felt like you're just, this beautiful path. And other times you were trying to pull like the thorns out of your arm. I literally have thorn marks on my arm from the brush. It wasn't always awesome, but it was fun.
Ray went to take a photo of me running, and luckily it's alive, so maybe I can figure out how to get that on here. But I was running, and there was like, the big palm branches were down, and I know we had ran over these on our way out, and this is our way back, and I don't know, something with the shadow, something moved, and I was just mid-stride, and it was just like all of a sudden I hurtled. I was like, whoa! I thought it was a snake or who knows, a sloth. It wasn't fast, but it was a lot of fun. We haven't gotten to do this in so long. This is, our oldest is turning 6 in July. I mean, realistically, you're pregnant a year, give or take. So it's been 7 years since we've really had a nice break like this.
Yeah, like a good adventure style.
Yeah. I wouldn't say this is our finest rosé we've ever had.
No. But it does.
It does the trick. Where's yours? Do you need a top up?
Nah, it's all good for now.
Wimp.
Okay.
Well, we're back after that slight intermission.
Coconut breakage or coconut opening attempt.
Everyone we've met have been super friendly. I think it's just such an easygoing island that everyone's here just here to chill and have a little adventure. It's definitely an off the beaten kind of vacation spot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not
no high-rise resorts or clubs or shopping.
We didn't do any pig swimming or anything like that. We really did no touristy things. We just did our own thing and
went scuba diving.
Scuba diving, yeah, but we basically found our own beaches. Like yesterday, we went to a beach that was completely desolate. Our entire beach by ourselves. Yeah. Our little Airbnb is at the far end here.
Our beach was not desolate. We were almost carried away by giant sandflies.
There was a lot of sandflies there, but there was no other humans there.
No humans.
And this beach is effectively ours as well. Our Airbnb is down the far end.
That's like the first family we've seen on this side of the island.
Yeah.
What is this island, 100 miles long?
100 and something, yeah. It's really long.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very long island.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
Yep. With that, we have got to get rolling. We've got a couple more, an hour and a half here,
I've got some more sunshine to absorb.
Yep. And then we got to run and catch our little pineapple plane to the next island.
Yep.
So, thank you for being DCR supporters. We will be back in the shed or the cave or something like that for the next one. And I'm sure we've got plenty of
I really hope the audio was okay.
Hopefully it didn't suck. Otherwise, I don't got anything for you. So this is all we got if it didn't work out. Or if it does work out, I don't know. With that, thanks for being DCR supporters, and we will see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
1, 2, 3. Audio sync. Do yours nice and loud. Audio sync.
Audio sync.
Yell it.
What do I have to say?
Just yell so this picks it up too. Oh my God, that's horrible.
You said to yell.
Yeah.
Well, you crack this open, and I'll start making our list.
Okay.
We don't have a list.
Pretty big one to crack open. I'm done.
It's not terrible, but it's not great.
Could be worse.
What are we drinking? Rosé all day, baby.
Yep.
Woo woo! All right, QC.
Do we have a QC episode?
Bahamas episode.
Okay, Bahamas edition.
Bahamas edition.
Because we don't have cellular service to look up what edition of them are on. I think it's 40.
Did you see the crab that walked across here when you were talking?
What?
I almost like grabbed the phone and started taking a video while you were talking.
I was wondering what you're looking at.
There's a crab.
Huh.
Yeah. As long as he didn't come for us, then that's fine. You got a coconut.
We can't break it.
How you? I don't know. These rocks you can find a good point.
We've been smashing it against all sorts. We can't get it open.
It's hard to understand how the wind is coming in both directions.
Yeah.
It's coming inland on both sides.
I yell audio sync, you do clap. Audio sync. There we go. Welcome to episode